Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all are in good health and condition. First of all, I want to say thank you very much for your participation and welcome to our panel discussion today. Now, I would like to introduce myself. So, my name is Nurul Izzah and I am an English major college student at Indraprastha PGRI University. And as you can see, I will be serving as your moderator today. So, in this chance, you'll be hearing a discussion on the topic of the danger of bullying for our children and how to protect them. This topic will be discussed in depth by our amazing panelists today, and they are Mrs. Kiki Lestari and Mrs. Nadia Setiakirana, who are also English major college students who have great attention to the case of bullying that often occur to our children. Therefore, we invite them here to share their useful knowledge and thoughts related to this topic with the hope that by joining this discussion today, by knowing the dangers of bullying as well as the way to protect our children from it, we will be more aware and can even prevent the case of bullying from happening around us. Now, moving along to our main session, which is the discussion itself, please welcome our first panelist, Mrs. Kiki Lestari, who will be speaking to us on this topic. So, hello, Mrs. Kiki, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is such an honor to have you here. So, Mrs. Kiki, let's get straight to it. Would you like to explain to us your view regarding to this topic?
Okay, thank you, the moderator, for the opportunity. My name is Kiki Lestari as a panelist one. I will give my opinion about the danger of bullying for children. So, before that, we have to know that the case of bullying in Indonesia is very worrying. Until now, there have been many cases of bullying that occurred. Perpetrators and victims are not only adults, but also include children. This is due to the lack of knowledge about bullying and the lack of awareness of the perpetrators of bullying about the effect that occur on the victim. So, we need to know about bullying so that we can prevent and help protect victims of bullying. According to Always and the book Bullying at School, What We Know and What We Can Do, Oxford, Blackwell 2005, bullying is an act or intentional aggressive behavior which is carried out by a group of people or someone repeatedly and from time to time against a victim who cannot defend himself easily or as an abuse of power systematically. We conclude that the nature of bullying is a desire to take aggressive action to children, adults, and the weaker groups, both physically, verbally, and psychologically by groups and individuals who feel stronger to show their dominance. The impact experienced by victims of bullying can have short-term and long-term consequences. Victim will feel stress, depression, and excessive anxiety. This can have an impact on decreasing the victim's performance at school and at work. In fact, it is not uncommon for victims of bullying to become bullies to vent pent-up emotions. If it is an alarming level, it can have psychological impact on self-harm to suicide. So that's all my opinion about the danger of bullying. Thank you. Back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, Mrs. Kiki. I think this is starting to get very interesting. So now, Mrs. Nadia, still in line with the discussion that has been presented by Mrs. Kiki, do you have your own view or idea or thoughts or arguments about this topic?
Okay, thank you moderator for the opportunity, and I want to give my opinion about danger of bullying. Bullying is a major health issue and the side effects are and long lasting, I think, and in the most tragic of cases. Bullying has a fatal consequence And I think that children and adolescents who are involved in bullying, either an aggressor as victim and both put themselves at a risk as a number of emotional and behavior problems. Now in the future are require support to learn how to develop health and relationship. And I think I have several ways to how to protect children from bullying. Number one, communicate with your child about bullying and peer relationship. And this is a very important, the first step, because without open communication you may not know your child experience bullying. Number two, talk about what's bullying and what is it not. Number three, monitor online activities. It's the most important thing that you can do to reduce online bullying. It's to keep on track your child's online behavior.
Okay, thank you very much for the great answer, Mrs. Nadia. Alright, now moving on to our next session, which is the Q&A session. I'm going to take more questions from our lovely participants today. So for anyone here who want to ask a question, please state your name and then you can deliver your question.
Okay, thank you to the moderator for the opportunity. And my question is, what are the factors that drive bullying? Okay, thank you.
Alright, thank you very much, Mrs. Luthfia, for the great question. Now, I'm going to ask the panelists to answer the question. So, let me restate the question first. So, the question is, what are the factors that drive bullying? And for this specific question, I think I'm going to ask Mrs. Kiki to answer. So, can you please answer this question, Mrs. Kiki?
Okay, thank you to the moderator and thank you to the participant for the question. So now I will answer the question from the participant, Miss Luthfia. And the question is, what are the factors that drive bullying? Okay, so let me answer. The driving force for bullying perpetrators to take their action is not only because the victim looks weak, so it's easy to be intimidated. But there are also several factors that encourage the perpetrators to intimidate the weaker ones. And first, desire to dominate. Perpetrators feel they have greater power than the surrounding environment. The lack of empathy due to having a stronger ability makes the perpetrator act arbitrarily. Bullies often do bullying to show their strength to others by bullying the weaker one. And then, less harmonious family relationships. The condition of the home or family environment can be the cause of the perpetrators of bullying. Perpetrators feel that they do not get attention and affection from their families, so they seek attention outside the home by expressing those who look weaker. Unfavorable home conditions such as parental fights and broken homes can trigger bullying. And then, consider bullying profitable. Perpetrators feel that they have naturally benefit from the act of oppressing the weaker. Perpetrators can also feel that they get a high social status from their action. And then, lack of knowledge about bullying. It is not uncommon for perpetrators to feel that their actions are normal and do not include bullying. This is because the surrounding environment shows the wrong routine of action continuously. And then, revenge factor. Perpetrators who have been victims of bullying in the past will experience psychological disorders. This, if not handled properly, cannot rule out the possibility that the victim will become a bully. The target of perpetrators' action because of this factor can be perpetrators who attack himself for revenge or looking for someone else who is weaker than himself to fan his emotion. So that's the answer for me. Thank you for the question. Back to the moderator.
Alright, thank you very much for the answer, Mrs. Kiki. Okay, so from the answer that has been given by Mrs. Kiki, I think this is very interesting, knowing that even the bullies may have reasons that we do not even expect from their actions, like maybe it based on their family relationships or motives for revenge or even lack of knowledge about bullying itself. So, what an insight from Mrs. Kiki. Thank you so much. Alright, because there is still a little time left, now I'm going to accept one more question from our lovely participants today. So, for anyone who want to ask, please state your name and deliver your question to us.
Okay, thank you to the moderator for the opportunity. My name is Fanny Rahma Sari. I'm the audience. So, in this train, I want to ask, can bullying and being bullied as a child continue in the adulthood? Thank you.
Alright, thank you very much, Mrs. Fanny, for the great question. Now, I'm going to ask the panelists to answer the question. So, let me restate the question again. So, the question is, can bullying and being bullied as a child continue into adulthood? And for this specific question, I think I'm going to ask Mrs. Nadia to answer. So, can you please answer this question, Mrs. Nadia?
Okay, thank you, Fanny, for the asking. I think yes, you can. What you have to do learn for more appropriate behavior. For the example, how to communicate more effectively, such as in message, how to give choice and just comment, and of course it depends to a level. And I think that have two types of bullying, but in general adult behavior it's more difficultly to change that children's because it's thanks to learn from a habit. I think that practice make a permanent, right? If a child is a victim of adult bullying, it will be difficult to let go without to help other because naturally the child's strength in the relationship is much weaker. Okay, that if the children see other adults bullying is front of them, and then their parents should be an example how to actively prevent and stop bullying, not just sit around and walk around without helping. Okay, I think that's enough for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nadia, for the answer question from me. And I agree with Nadia's opinion that bullying is any form of oppression or violence that is intentionally carried out by one person or a group of the people with the aims of hurting continuously. And this has a very negative impact on a person's mentality. And this matter must be handled wisely. Okay, that's all from me and back to the moderator. Thank you.
Alright, thank you very much for the answer, Mrs. Nadia, and also for the additional insight from Mrs. Fanny. Okay, that was such a really interesting and amazing discussion today. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to all of us. Okay, and finally, as we are getting closer to the end of our time together, I will convey an amazing quote from Mandy Hill, a New York Times best-selling author. She said, "There is nothing more beautiful than someone who goes out of their way to make life beautiful for others." Finally, as the real closing, I want to say thank you so much to both of our amazing panelists for sharing your ideas, thoughts, and knowledge. I'm really happy to discuss all of this with you all. And also, thank you so much to all of our participants today for participating. We really do appreciate your interest in this very important topic. And I personally really hope that this discussion and spirit continues out even after this panel discussion has ended. And lastly, I am Nurul Izzah. Apologize if there are still many shortcomings for my words or action, and as your moderator today, may we always be given help so that we can meet again and continue to learn together in the future. Amin. Once again, thank you so much and see you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.